There are more things in heaven and earth, and a few places besides. Hiding in the shadows of our everyday world is a multitude of unexplained phenomena. My name is Angie Dupree, and I've made it my life's work to uncover the truth behind the mysteries this world has to offer. From cryptids and UFOs to poltergeists and goblins, I've put together the perfect team to get to the bottom of it all. First, there's my husband Bob, an expert researcher and historian, and, like me, a lover of all things spooktacular.
Babe, did you see this?
Then there's Missy Bedford, outdoor survival expert and tracker.
You can see where something came through here. Whatever it was big.
We've also got Sherry Damascus, one of the world's most talented mediums, who might be just a little too good at her job.
Send us a sign if you can hear us.
And the newest member of our team, Sly Whitaker. He's the skeptic here to make sure we keep our feet firmly on the ground.
You know that's not how evidence works, right? You haven't proven anything.
Together, we're here to make mysteries into minced meat. We are the ParaAbnormals.
Good evening, Mrs. Wyman. I'm Bob Dupree, and this is Missy Bedford. I believe you spoke to my wife on the phone last week?
You're the ghost people.
We're a bit broader in scope than that, but yes. May we come in?
Certainly. Please do. Can I offer you something to drink? We always have some of the company's vintage after dinner.
Oh, thank you. But I never drink wine. At least not at this hour.
But since he's driving, I would love a glass. Thank you.
Of course. Right this way. And I can introduce you to my husband. Conrad, the TV people are here.
What are they drinking?
He's a little house-proud.
No, I'm spectacularly house-proud. What about a bottle of the Riesling from 2 summers ago?
I'm in your hands. You're the vintners.
Technically, no. We're just the owners of the vineyard.
Which means we do a little bit of everything, from helping with the harvest to maintaining the cellars, and Conrad leads the tours about every weekend.
When we inherited this place, I had no idea how much was involved in running the vineyard. Here you are.
Thanks. Is this one of those if you don't like it, fake it moments?
You'll love it.
You're right. I don't have to fake anything.
So you inherited this place from the previous owners?
My cousin, Eric. His wife had no family when she died, and I was the closest living relative when Eric was murdered.
And you're sure it was murder?
No question. He was strangled from behind with a cord.
That's horrible.
Yes, and you want to know the worst part?
The fact they never found the killer?
No. The worst part is I'm not sad that it happened. I hadn't seen Eric since we were both kids, and the news that we'd inherited the property came 2 days after I'd been laid off. Eric's death was honestly the best thing that ever happened to me.
Not that we'd be saying that if you brought your camera equipment.
Well, honestly, I'm having a hard time blaming you. Of course, that might be the wine talking.
You've had half a glass.
It's that good.
So, in your own words, tell us why you think our team can help. Do you suspect Eric's ghost is haunting the place?
Have you heard about the Banshee?
What is there to hear?
Eric's wife, Cheyenne, died a month before he did. They found her body out among the grapes, dead from exposure. She'd had way too much to drink, and it looked like she passed out on one of the coldest nights of the year.
Not long after she passed, a lot of people started hearing ominous sounds coming from the vineyard. Moans, wails, or something like them. It freaked Eric out something fierce.
And it looks like he had every right to be scared. Less than a month later, they found his body upstairs in the library.
Was that the last time anyone heard the Banshee?
That depends on how you define it. There's a farm next to us, and about 3 years ago, they started holding a small festival called BansheeCon. Every year at about this time. They pipe in weird noises, as though the Banshee is still haunting the hills.
And you're okay with that?
Officially, we have no comment. We hold the same winery tours we do all year long. But we do 3 times as many on BansheeCon weekend, and they sell out months in advance. Obviously, if we were to try to cash in on my cousin's murder and his wife's death any more overtly than that, it would be in the poorest of taste.
And not to sound callous, but we really wish we could display some really poor taste.
Which is where we come in.
No more wine for you.
Actually, let me pour you another. Look, the fact is, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't think there was a Banshee. But I've seen your show, and you folks do a bang-up job. When I give the tours, I can't say, sure, Eric's ghost is haunting the place like nobody's business. But if you guys can show something like that might be possible, I can always say, I don't believe it myself, but there were these ghost hunters here, and they showed me some stuff I can't really explain.
Sorry if it comes off as mercenary, but in this business, we can't afford to leave anything on the table.
Well, we do the show for money, so I'm not sure we have a lot of room to judge. Since we can assume you'll do whatever you can to help with the filming, I think this will work out just fine. We'll bring the team in tomorrow, and my wife will have some paperwork for you.
Hello, Miss Ryan. Do you have a moment?
You can call me Elise, Mrs. Dupree, and I don't mind talking if you don't mind if I keep inspecting these vines.
You know who we are?
Oh, my daughter loves your show, Miss Damascus. I suspect she gave the Wymans the idea to call your show in the first place.
Are you also a fan?
Of you, yes. Whenever my daughter tells me about an episode she watched, I always ask her, and what did Sly say? I have nothing against the fantastical as an escape, but I would prefer that Hannah not be completely gullible when it comes to psychics and mediums.
I see.
To be clear, Sherry, I'm not saying you're a fraud, but even you will have to admit your profession has more than a few of them.
Look, I don't believe Sherry can really talk to ghosts, but I do believe she's acting in good faith. She really believes what she's doing is real, and I know she's not trying to deceive anyone.
Regardless, we're not really here to defend what it is that we do. We're here because...
You're here to ask me to participate in your episode, and I'm afraid the answer is an unequivocal no.
Your insight into this situation would be invaluable.
Probably, but I find it in poor taste. Eric and Cheyenne were my friends. I lived in their house growing up, but my parents sold it to put me through college. A degree in viticulture and 10 years work experience later, I came back here to find two people who were passionate about a vineyard but had almost no idea what they were doing. They hired me on the spot, and I spent more time in their house than the little cottage they had built for me. When Cheyenne died, I was devastated. And then I lost Eric, too. So no, Angie Dupree, I really don't have a lot to tell you about odd noises in the night back then. I was sort of busy crying myself to sleep.
I understand, Elise. We're not here to cause you any pain, and I'm sorry if we have.
I don't suppose I could convince you to drop this whole idea for the episode?
No, I'm afraid not.
Mama!
Over here, Hannah.
Carly wants to know if she can come over and watch. OMG, they're really here!
Yes, dear. I trust you're not going to let my decision stop you from signing some autographs for my daughter.
It will be our pleasure. We have some materials back in the RV. I will make sure the whole team signs something.
You're my favorite. You and Missy.
Oh, thank you.
Hang on. Where did Sly go?
Are we good, Connor?
I need to move that light about an inch. Sherry's not lit like I'd prefer. Yeah, that's better.
Good to go?
Hit it.
With us today are Conrad and Maria Weinman from Weinman Vineyards, and they've invited their neighbor, Naomi Green, who runs the Banshee Con at the farm bordering their property. Naomi, you were here when Eric and Cheyenne Weinman passed away?
Oh, yeah. I was kind of young at the time, but my parents used to picnic with them.
And you heard the sound of the Banshee all those years ago?
Sure did. Nobody in my house slept for a solid week.
Did you ever see anything?
No, just heard the wailing.
I see. Now, you told us earlier, you believe Eric's spirit is still in this house?
Something definitely is. Conrad and Maria have had me over for dinner a few times, but every time I get within 10 feet of the room where he died, I suddenly feel cold and my arm hairs stand on end. I won't go near that place.
Which is why we're going to try the seance here in the dining room.
Do you think you'll have any success in reaching out, Sherry?
I never really know until I try, but there's definitely something here. Whether that something wants to talk or not, I have no idea. Now everyone, please just take a moment to clear your mind. Give up on any preconceived notion of what you think is going to happen here today. Just concentrate on being open to whatever happens. Eric, are you here? Eric, we want to understand why you remain here. Eric, give us a sign. Let us know what keeps you from crossing over.
What the?
Stay calm. Just allow yourself to stay open. Eric, thank you for coming to speak with us. Tell us what you need us to know.
Sherry.
Did that say Sherry?
Yes, Sherry. My name is Sherry. Tell us what you need us to know, Eric.
No.
Was that it?
I don't think there's anyone here anymore.
Tell me you got that.
The music, sure, but through the headphones I didn't hear Sherry. I'm not really sure what it was.
I'm gonna have to strangle somebody at the network.
Was that really a ghost?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
That was amazing. Can I hire you for BansheeCon? Our guests would love you.
Hey, Bob.
Any luck?
I just spent 4 hours walking over the grounds with a metal detector because somebody thought we needed to rule out recorded sounds as the source of the Banshee.
Sly has a point.
Even if I concede that point, Connor and I are not enough people to do a thorough search of the area. Naomi at least let me know about where the sounds were coming from, so we could narrow it down a little bit, but these grounds are huge, and that's not even the biggest problem.
Is the biggest problem the fact that this all happened years ago, and if someone put up recording equipment, they probably have taken it down by now?
See? You spotted it immediately.
And you spotted it before you started walking, am I right?
Yes.
So why did you do it?
Because it made the investigation more legitimate. It doesn't rule out the possibility of someone faking the sounds, but it does show we took the time to look for the most obvious evidence.
Yes, indeed. And that makes good television. I know you and Sly don't get along, but he is rubbing off on you in a good way.
Am I at least allowed to be annoyed that we only have one metal detector, so I had to do this all by myself while Connor was filming me?
That one I'll grant you. We don't use the metal detector very often. I can ask Angie if there's room in the budget.
Don't bother. I already know the answer to that question. Besides, if we got detectors for the whole team, we'd have to redo this again with Connor filming a bunch of people, finding nothing. Let's change the subject. How has your research been going?
Let's call it mixed results.
Meaning?
All right, so assuming the Banshee wasn't a hoax, the obvious conclusion is that after Cheyenne died, her spirit came back and started wailing in despair for her death. Except that's not what a Banshee is. A Banshee is a creature from Irish legend which wails to foretell the death of individuals from certain families.
So it wasn't keening for Cheyenne's death, it was foretelling Eric's?
How Irish can he be with a last name like Wyman?
Are you doing all right, Connor?
4 hours with Missy in a metal detector. She was about ready to start punching rocks.
So I suppose you didn't find anything.
A surprising amount of bottle caps for a winery.
Do you need a break before we do this?
Nah, the Wymans made me a cup of coffee before they headed out and I guzzled it down. Nothing wakes me up like a burnt tongue. Let's do this.
After our experience in the dining room, Sherry and I are here outside the room where Eric Weinman was found strangled to death. Our hosts, Conrad and Maria, have not made many alterations to this room over the years. They find it unpleasant to be in here.
Oh my.
What are you feeling?
Resistance. I can feel the presence, but he's fighting me, hiding from me. No, I've lost him.
I'm getting some footage from the rest of the room.
Thank you, Connor.
Looks like mostly a bunch of books on the wine industry.
It's weird that he doesn't want to talk to you now. He called you by name in the other room.
Here's some books on fortified wines.
Wait, what?
What is it?
Fortified wine. He wasn't saying sherry, he was saying sherry.
Those are the same words.
Just move over and keep filming.
What are you looking for?
Sherry is a kind of fortified wine. Maybe something in one of these books can...
No way.
Holy cow, that worked.
Do you know how many years in haunted houses I've visited waiting for my first actual secret door?
There's dust everywhere. I'd be willing to bet the Wymans didn't even know about this place.
Connor, put the light on that corner. What is that?
Oh no.
Is that a rope?
Don't touch it.
Sherry, what's wrong?
Turn the camera off, then set it down on the floor.
Elise?
I really don't want to pull this trigger, but I have a lot to lose here, so I wouldn't test this.
What is this?
She killed Eric Wyman. Do you remember the music that played at the seance? It was for Elise. Eric was trying to tell us.
That sounds like him. He used to play that on the guitar for me.
You were having an affair?
Sure. I may as well let you know. We were. And then he killed his wife and made it look like she got drunk and died. He did that to be with me, and he thought it was okay. I know you won't believe this, but she was my best friend. I never wanted this to happen to her, but that wasn't the end of it. Then she came back to see me.
The Banshee? Those wails were her telling you to kill Eric?
No. She still loved him. She was begging me not to kill him. But I couldn't let my daughter come into this world to meet her father, the murderer.
Hannah is Eric's child.
Yes. I wasn't starting to show yet, so none of the police even knew I was pregnant. Nobody knew about the secret room I hid in, waiting for him to come stand by the window like he did every night. I thought about coming back someday to get the cord I used to do it, but I was too much of a coward to come back here. But that's enough of my biography. Get inside that secret room.
Are you going to kill us?
Not if you get inside. That light switch probably still works, and you don't want to be here in the dark. The room is basically soundproof except for in the library, and Conrad and Maria don't come in here if they can avoid it. This should give me plenty of time to take Hannah and get out of here. I'm gonna miss this place, but I guess I have only myself to blame.
I can't believe this.
What was that?
I'm pretty sure she just jammed the entrance closed. Yeah, we're stuck.
The ghost plays for Elise, and someone named Elise lives on the grounds. How do I miss that?
That isn't helping anything.
I'm not trying to be helpful. I'm too busy berating myself for being an idiot.
Sherry, come on. Stop. We can figure this out.
Maybe if we all push. Or maybe not. Okay, well, we shouldn't take her word for it that this room is soundproofed. We can at least try calling for help.
No point. Conrad and Maria are having a tasting down by the wine press. They'll be there for a couple hours at least. They were heading there right before they gave me the coffee. Come to think of it, I'm probably going to regret that coffee before too much longer.
One crisis at a time. We'll figure something out.
Hey, guys. What?
How did... Ooh!
Connor, shut up. I have an idea, but you need to act like everything's fine. Got it?
Everything copacetic?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, there was just a bit of a wardrobe malfunction. But we are not talking about it, right, Connor?
I didn't see a thing, I swear.
Oh. Well,
Sly, be careful not to touch that rope in the corner. We think it might be the murder weapon.
What?
Look at all the dust around here. It's been years since anyone came in this place.
Wow. You should probably call the cops.
No reception. Could you run down to the trailer and tell Bob to call the police? Then he and Missy should probably meet us here.
Good call. I'll be back soon.
Can I talk now?
Sure.
What the heck was that?
He's a ghost. He can walk through walls. It's what they do.
But he doesn't know he's a ghost.
Which is why it was very important that he didn't know he wasn't supposed to be able to get out of this room.
Wow, that was a long shot.
But one that paid off. Also, I saw something tonight I have never seen before.
What?
When you mentioned the wardrobe malfunction, I got to see a ghost blush.
Thank you, Detective. I appreciate you taking care of my people.
This isn't the kind of story which usually ends with no one getting hurt except the guy who was murdered 14 years ago. Your people are lucky.
Believe me, they know.
I'm going to have some words with the detectives and crime scene people who were on the case before. They missed a whole other room and let a killer walk free for over a decade.
I don't envy you that discussion.
Well, you've got a difficult one in front of yourself.
What do you mean?
Mr. Dupree, my department appreciates how cooperative your team has been with sharing all of your footage, but no good deed goes unpunished. You're going to have to sit on that footage at least until after the trial, and probably until after any appeals. That could take years.
Oof, you're right. Do you think Elise has any chance with that insanity defense?
I'm not a lawyer, but it seems unlikely. Claiming you saw a ghost is one thing, but claiming you saw a ghost who told you not to commit murder, I don't see that working. Shame about the kid, though.
Hannah?
Yeah, no family to speak of, certainly nothing local. The Wymans have said they'd consider taking her in, but that could get complicated. I don't see a lot of good outcomes here.
I'll talk to my wife about it.
Your wife?
Yeah, she has a lot of experience with foundlings.
You have been listening to the ParaAbnormals, the Vineyard Banshee, produced by Seat of Our Pants Players, written and directed by Dan Wenzel. Angie was Jill Wenzel. Bob was Rick Tennant. Maria was Andy Gastongi. Conrad was Andrew Dell. Missy was Liz Music. Sly was Aaron Manka White. Sherry was Rebecca Scheimer. Elise was Brianna Kuby. Hannah was Morgan Gastongi. Connor was Ray Greenlee. Naomi was Dana Bonner Andreessen. Eric's ghost was Dan Wenzel. The detective was Adam Gastongi. Some music and sound effects provided by www.freesfx.co.uk. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
This is Jill Wenzel with Seat of Our Pants Players. All of us at Soup are extremely grateful for all of our Patreon supporters, so thank you. And especially, we want to thank the individuals supporting us at the Founder of the Feast level. All of us eating Dan's chili today are full-bellied and overwhelmed by your support. Please consider joining the ranks of our supporters at www.patreon.com/seatofourpantsplayers. All one word.